All right, y'all. What's up? Little early show here, earlier than 9. But I wanted to tap in with you guys, give you a quick little monologue, but I got to make sure, of course, we're live everywhere. So make sure we're live on Instagram. We're going to go live here in 1 second on Facebook here. Set that up. Make sure everybody can reach us. And once I get this all set up and good, we're gonna get into this little monologue here. Um, we waited, gave us some time to kind of figure out, give us some time to kind of figure out what we were doing, how we were gonna cope with the L, and I think we did that. So I think we're good. And give me one more second here. We're live. Just want to make sure that everybody can see us. There. Again, one day I'll have an assistant and I won't have to do all this myself. Okay. All right, let's get to it. First things first. The Pittsburgh Steelers, of course, we know lost to the Buffalo Bills. But there's like a little bit of me that really wants to just be like, I told you so. Didn't I tell you? I told you. Um, and I'll just leave it there. I'm not one to brag. I'm not one to boast, but it really bothered me, really hurt my feelings when people try to drag me in the mud, call me all types of names, say, you don't know what you're talking about. Who are you? You just over here for clicks. You for that. You for that. You for this. When I told you, if Mike Tomlin left the Pittsburgh Steelers organization, he wasn't going by himself. And you all like, oh, he can take his coaches, he can take this. Like, ain't no players gonna go with him. You I don't understand the joy in my stomach when I heard TJ Watt say, I don't want to play for nobody but him. And his contract negotiation, that was a big part of his contract negotiation. Because you tried to play me and you said that's not how contracts work. Have you ever read an NFL contract? Most of you haven't. Most of you only know what's in an NFL contract if ESPN or Fox or someone tells you what's in it. So I behoove you to go actually read and understand the termination clauses and all the different things in an NFL contract because some players can absolutely change, I don't know, request trades and all different types of things if things aren't going their way with the team. You already heard Max Crosby say, if we don't get that coach, probably gonna request a trade, probably gonna try to get out of town. So please, just please believe, no, if Mike Tomlin for some reason decided not to continue on with the Pittsburgh Steelers, that he would, you know, some players would actually try to leave the Pittsburgh Steelers as well. This isn't a glamour destination, people. He makes this team, he makes this organization what it is. I know you guys, and a lot of you guys want other people, want someone else in, but just know you're gonna lose more than what you think you'll lose. And you're saying, and some of y'all saying it's okay, it's cool. TJ can go, this person can go. I don't care. You don't really know that pain. You don't know that pain. But hey, hopefully you don't gotta find out anytime soon. So let's get started with the show, shall we? Sorry, I had to get that off my chest. What up, Dave? What's up, J Rock?
What up? What up? What up? Good morning,
I
good
know we're
afternoon,
on
good evening.
a little early, a spare of the moment surprise show, but I wanted to talk to y'all about everything that's happened since we did our live watching of the Steelers in Buffalo. So, what up, Dane? He in the darkness.
Now you over there suited and booted, boy, looking like you looking for some trouble.
Yeah,
Well,
this was kind of spur of the moment. I saw it when I was
it was, it
looking at
was.
some things, and I was like, okay, I got a little moment, so I could stop by
That's
and
what's
We
say,
up.
appreciate you, man. What's up, everybody on the live? Steely McBeans, like I finally caught a live. Thank you for joining us. Ali's here. Um, but yeah, I'm glad you guys are here. I know it was for the moment, but look, we're here. I want to talk to you guys about one. We all watched us three watched the game together, so we kind of understand each other's emotions about the outcome of the game. But do we think? I still think Mike Tomlin made the right choice of going with Mason. I don't think there's anybody here that disagrees that he should have went with Kenny Pickett. I did see some of that online. I knew that I would. And two, I think it was really, truly a battle of bad tackling and just mistakes that they couldn't get themselves out of the kind of the hole that they dig for themselves. So I would love your like overall take of what happened. And I'm sure some play calling things could probably fall in there as well. So I'll start with Dane just because I don't know how long we have you for, and then I'll go to.
I mean, this just goes back to every time I say things about starting off slow.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. They were ready, but you can't fumble. You can't make mistakes, and you can't start out 21-0 away in a playoff game. Those things are just not going to work. You can fight your way back and things like that and come up short, but it's an uphill battle when you're playing them. I mean, especially in Buffalo. So, they fought back gallantly. I like Mason. Mason was strong in that game as far as I'm concerned, considering what he was dealing with. So I'm proud of how he played. I have no problems with him. It was a tough loss, but we almost pulled it off as far as coming back, maybe tying it. But you just can't start 21-0. You just can't do it. I'm not gonna talk about the refs. I don't want to hear about the refs. I don't want to hear anything about that. You just don't start off 21-0.
I agree.
And expect to get handouts or get help later on in the game. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, and I mean, just to kind of piggyback off what Dan was saying, I mean, turnovers was the main catalyst in that, in that loss, in my opinion. Especially being in an environment like that, you in a away game with a team coming in off a 5-game win streak. They was hot, and I mean, they are formidable opponents in the AFC. So I mean, you can't really kind of go in there shortchanging them. You can't go in there half-massed, and not really at your best. I was extremely disappointed in the energy that they had going into that game because I think that they kind of came in very flat, and they came in with a lay down type of mentality. And again, you can't have stuff like that in that type of environment with those teams. You know what I'm saying? You just can't do it. I think that, of course, like I said, to coincide with the turnovers, I think it was, some bad play calling in the mix. You had the first 2 or 3 drives that were unsuccessful because of, to me, predictable play calling. I mean, you lined up. Of course, going into this game, I understood that everybody knew that Pittsburgh was going to run the ball. So, I mean, you allowed and sat there and watched Buffalo stack 8-9 people in the box. You had a safety coming down, Roman or whatever in the box, waiting for you to run, and you never changed the play. You never changed up the play call. You never changed up the formation, the style, or anything. And we were unsuccessful with that. We got into 3rd and shorts, but when you get into 3rd and shorts, you also get into a predictable defensive call. So I mean, defensively, it was easy for them to kind of be ready for it. So, I think to add to that, it was bad clock management. And I know in the first half, toward the end of the first half, we had an opportunity with almost 2 minutes left on the clock to, if we wanted to be aggressive enough to potentially stop the Bills from, move the ball and potentially score before the half. And we did. It was kind of like we just allowed them to run the clock out and was complacent with allowing them to have the score that they had instead of being aggressive. And that's another thing that I wanted to add to it. We just weren't aggressive enough. We weren't aggressive, and we can get into it later as far as like what Mark Tomlin said in his press conference, but we just weren't aggressive enough until we needed to be aggressive. And we should have been aggressive all year. So that was kind of like a downfall. Defensively, poor tackling. Very, very, very poor tackling. Again, not aggressive enough. We had some things that didn't go on our way, but as Dan said, I don't want to rest on the refs. We can't rely on the refs in any facet of the game at any time of the game because they're never going to be on your side, and you shouldn't have to rely on them. You should do what you got to do and then win the game, and then let the numbers and the clock speak for itself. I think that they gave up too many yards. I think that they weren't disciplined. I don't think that they were communicative and knowledgeable on where they needed to be, when they needed to be there, giving up touchdowns and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So it was just kind of like bad all around. And I mean, you can kind of slide the flags and the penalties and stuff toward the end. I also think it was bad, like sportsmanship type things, the way as though you seen some of the after play stuff. Like I seen the
Oh,
offensive
Diggs with the
lineman
water bottle.
yeah. The Diggs with the water bottle. You saying the
Mhm.
offensive lineman hit JPJ in the back of the head and give him a concussion that wasn't called. We got the bad call with Allen with the slide, and they gave him
And throwing
unnecessary
ice.
roughness. Yeah, so I mean, and even if you wanted to roll back the tape last year, it was the same teams. And Kenny Pickett went for a slide and he got rocked, and they never called anything. So I mean, it's like I said, it's just again, you don't want to rely on the refs, but you also want to play smart and disciplined the way though you can handle all that inside the numbers, inside the lines, inside the the confines of the play clock and the scoreboard. So I just think that like I said, that they weren't ready. I honestly didn't want them to even go just by saying how they played coming up to the postseason and saying how they kind of got in. I honestly knew that it was kind of going to be like that, and I mean, it was kind of like not really a waste of time, but it was like really like a waste of a playoff spot. Like I really would have rather seen a more energetic, equipped team to go in there and make a solid playoff run. But we got in there. We ended a playoff going to the playoff drought. So I mean, can't really be mad. But then I want to see Super Bowl. So I mean, if you don't make it all the way, it don't even matter. Even if the Ravens, number one team, if they get this bye week and don't go to the Super Bowl, what is you going to the playoffs for if you don't win? So I
Well,
mean,
I hear you, but I feel like this team had struck a match and ignited something. It just seemed like especially on the offensive side, it seemed like they were a unit. And I was excited to see them go out there and put that product on the field. I was excited because the run game was just so what I knew it could be from the beginning. And for it to finally click and for the offensive line to be making holes for these guys and for Mason to be accepted and we'll talk about the exit, the after press conferences and interviews in a minute. That's why I called this the exit interview show. But just to see all of that collectively just being good and them being excited and going on a stretch. If of course, if you asked us in week 10, was this a playoff team? It would be really, really extremely hard to say yes. And even before that 3-game win streak, I was like, look, I don't want to talk about playoffs until they win the 3 games they have to win now. That was my stance, but I always believed that this offense could be what it was. I knew this was a 30-point team. Like I knew they could score over 30 points. They had the weapons, and for it to just come to fruition, I was like, okay, maybe they can. Like maybe they are motivated. Their backs have been up the wall, back against the wall all season. They've been winning games where they knew they could win by more, and it just felt great. I remember going back to the beginning of the season thinking like this is different. This is going to be different. The team is going to be different. I think we were all excited about it. It being a fresh start, and then for it to kind of go the way that it went, but then start finishing the way it was at a guy that we didn't even see touching the ball at week 1. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
This might sound crazy, but I didn't think we missed Watt as much. I only say that because it just seemed like Josh Allen got the ball out of his hands quick. I think he had the ball. When he passed the ball, dropped back and everything, it seemed like it took about 3 seconds for him to get rid of the ball.
You say that, but there is a mental thing.
Yeah, mentally. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, because if you watch that one game, I know the last time we played him, he wasn't there either, right? And they killed us, right?
Right.
But if you watch the game where we did beat them, and we had Ben Roethlisberger, the pressure he put on him, like he ruined that man's day when we played them week 1. So that
don't get me wrong. Yes, he's always going to
Yeah.
play. He's always a key. I just felt like we didn't need him as much. Of course, we need him, but I just felt like Josh Allen got rid of the ball.
I can't.
Even Watt to get to him, but I hear what you're saying.
Based off of the 2 games that I've seen without Watt, I can't say that he wasn't a major factor because I've seen the one game that we played with Watt, how disruptive he was to that man. So Josh Allen, I feel like Josh Allen mentally was probably a little bit at ease, knowing that his offensive linemen didn't have to double team a TJ Watt.
Probably, yep.
So I mean, I think that all plays, and and we know Josh Allen will make mistakes, and he didn't. So, I think it won't show up on paper, or I guess it does show up on paper how well Josh Allen did when TJ Watt was not in the game. So yeah. But I hear what you're saying. It doesn't like watching the game and seeing how fast he got rid of the ball doesn't seem like it. But what TJ Watt brings, I feel like sometimes you can't even document. But yeah,
which was my main reason for advocating for them to not to blitz. If Josh Allen knew he was going to be comfortable back there in the pocket anyway, it's no way that you blitzing 5 or 6 people and then one gap specifically opens up and then he gets to run for 50 yards. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that is unacceptable. I mean, the pressure that we had, the pressure that we was getting, it made no difference. Because I mean, even when we seen it when we were getting pressure on quarterbacks like Jake Browning. Jake Browning was getting rid of the ball in like 2 seconds. Right. The fact that he, game plan to be able to, and Zach Taylor coached them up to game plan to get the ball out because they knew that Watt was going to be able to get there, and seeing how ineffective it was because he was able to get the ball out, whether it be screen, whether it be throwing short hitch routes or slants or whatever the case may be, like whatever it was for him to get the ball out, he was getting it out, and the pressure didn't matter. So. With that being said, you got a bigger back, a bigger quarterback. Somebody 6'5", 240. You rushing and getting edge pressure. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's cool, but once that pressure gets past him, all he got to do is go right up the middle because his offensive line will open it up for him.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, I don't disagree. And someone asked, did the gap open or did Rowe get held? Are you talking about on the touchdown play by Josh Allen? I definitely saw a hold or 2, but look, that's I'm not even going. Like we know guys that get held every game. The Pittsburgh Steelers play, so
almost every play.
Yeah, so whatever. It is what it is. But I do want to talk about the infamous post-game interview with Mike Tomlin. When the question came up about his contract, everyone thought it was hilarious. I thought it was hilarious as well. People. Brooke Pryor was the one that started to ask the question about his contract, and he walked out. And I thought it was funny. It was like, look, he's not in the mood. He don't want to answer that question right now. I don't think a lot of people want to answer that question in that moment after you are probably still frozen, and you just lost your. I don't know how many consecutive playoff games is it, Dane?
5 or 6.
I figure you keep your track, so I'll go ask you.
yeah, it's about 5 or 6. I can't.
So you're not in the mood to answer that question at that moment. I totally get that, and I definitely have a attitude problem after I lose. So, but we don't normally do that from Coach Tomlin. But I enjoyed it.
I loved it. He's like, you know what? I didn't want to hear. I almost cursed. My apologies.
It's okay.
He's like, I didn't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I'm not in the mood. I'm pissed. He showed emotion. I don't want to talk about it. It was, you had to ask the question, but he didn't answer. He didn't feel like it, and he just wanted to go. He wanted to go, talk to his players, get in the locker room, and just do what he needed to do. But I loved it. I didn't have a problem with it. People are going to say, oh, you could have been professional. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
I
mean,
love it.
it was definitely him in emotion and him in reaction.
Yep.
And I mean, like D was saying, like you don't ask somebody about their livelihood while they just got whipped, in the game. Like you said, you outside in freezing temperatures. I'm pretty sure people throwing snow and snowballs, and that was another thing in the game. Your fans throwing snowballs. That was so trashy.
Yeah.
Like, that was so
Mhm.
trashy.
Let me
But I
ask you this.
mean, to be in that element and be in that situation, that was the wrong time to kind of like ask that question. So, I mean,
Curiosity, was
that
that
was
the
a
last question?
him. Say it again.
Was that the
That was
last
the
question you
last
asked? Was
That was
there...
question.
the very last question. He walked off.
Okay.
And
All right.
Yeah, because you could
he had
hear
he
hear
had the
like
left
anybody
face.
else, and then she snuck that one in there. But what I don't like is like okay, maybe the timing is off because of the situation, but as media, those are the questions that they're gonna ask, right? And
Right.
it's up to Mike Tomlin to give his response on how he's gonna do it. But for fans to be rude to the media lady, to Brooke, sorry. I just thought that was wrong. Like, I don't know if you could see some of the things people were saying to her.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, come on, y'all. She's
You
doing
can't
her
be mad at anybody.
yeah.
Yeah,
I was like, she's doing her job. He's got to
Right.
do his job. Like, let's just let's take it for entertainment, and we don't got a name call. We don't got to do none of that. Let's just move on. Let's be human beings. Everybody was in there to do their job, and it just, it is what it is. And we know Tomlin don't always look. When he get pissed at the media, he be like, "You guys." He start doing the "you guys" thing, and how he starts wording things when he gets irritated and annoyed with them. But I really do think that there is a friction between it all, because it not saying this doesn't happen every year, but this year it just seems so heavy and significant that the media was impacting this team in such a crazy way. I think the media led to Matt Canada being fired. I think the media led to, we saw what it did to Kenny Pickett, to the point where he felt he had to come out and say something and defend his character and other things. And I just felt like the media, even, and I'm not saying the people that are in there asking the questions every day. It could be the people with the local media, the shows and this and that. I felt like they had such an impact on this team negatively that it probably frustrated not just the players, but the coaches too.
The
yeah.
media sucks.
When you
feel me?
had those
Did
same
y'all feel-
issues, and the issues don't go away, the media is going to find a way to ask you the same thing, but maybe ask you in a different way. So they don't, it's not the same question. But if you have the same issues and you keep getting asked the same questions, like there's going to be a level of frustration. And then the media is going to say, oh, well, I asked them this question that's the last time. Let me figure out another way to ask them. So it creates tension.
The media sucks
it
this
should.
year. They suck this year. They started with Warren and Harris. They tried to separate them two. Then it was Pickens and Johnson. It was an
divisive.
Mason
It
and
was very
Pickett. It was all year. It was all year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, just the brief time I was on, like the 105.7 in Baltimore, and had Steelers fans listening to them talk about the Ravens and everything they had going on. And they were like, "Oh my gosh, they're so positive." Like, yes, granted, the Ravens are a really good team, but they don't talk crazy like this Pittsburgh media does about the Pittsburgh
Not
Steelers.
even close.
Oh, you gotta wait till they play bad.
Yeah, when they play bad, it's
Yeah,
bad.
bad, but when I'm talking about there is continuously like Kenny Pickett, like one day they hate him, one day they love him. They're like on and off the train of this. Like, yes, there are some players where they're like, he's terrible, whatever, but like all in all, I feel like they're really kind of in on their team. And I think just because the Ravens are the Ravens, but I feel like the Pittsburgh Steelers should get the same treatment, and maybe some stations do, but there's just some nasty people out there.
You know what it is too, that I've come to realize from just talking to a lot of people. Like Pittsburgh Steelers fans are spoiled. Like we entitled. Like
They are.
and to be honest, I can attribute that to just me. I mean, just being a fan since like the early '90s, late '80s, early '90s. And knowing the pedigree, like, they didn't really start getting good really until like the 2000s. But I mean, of course, they had their good moments here and there, you know what I'm saying, with, going to the Super Bowl in '95 and all that kind of stuff. But with that being said, like, the tradition, like the Steelers are winners. Like
Yeah.
and then the Ravens have been good for the majority of the time that they've been, in existence. So, I mean, like, they're going to be on the up and up, but they don't have the extra 60, 70 years of, fandom of people, back in the day going and watching them score, get 4 Super Bowls in 6 years, 5 years, so like they don't have that, but they do have what they have had as far as like Ray Lewis, which is their longest tenure player, and that's really like what they hang their hat on. So I mean, they have no. But I mean, and then to add to that, like I said, historically, they've just been good. I think they may have had like in their total history, they may have had 2 losing seasons. And the rest of them was like decent. They may not have been like number one like they are now, but they've always been potential.
They're a spoiled fan base too. However, sometimes I feel like they handle it a little bit better. I'm not saying that their fans are amazing or anything like that. I mean, sorry. There are good Ravens fans out there. I know that there's some crazy ones too, but I just feel like they handle it a little bit better than some of us do. Some of the media, like the media, it's just really the media. And when I say media, I don't mean everybody, but people know who the people are that are online being negative, and every time things aren't exactly the way, or we don't win by 30, we don't, like, this person sucks, he's terrible, and then they have a good game that's like, oh my God, I love this guy. Like, it's just so floppy. Like, you can respect someone's game. Someone can have a bad game. They can have a bad couple games, and the switch flicks or switches, whatever the heck it's called, when they have a good one, it frustrates me so much, because it's like, God, this guy's talented.
Yeah.
Harris, calling him a bust, saying that, all those things they said crazy about Najee Harris, and gets a 3rd consecutive 1,000-yard season, and everybody's shutting their mouths because they're like, oh yeah, I love Najee Harris. Like, now you love him. And in the beginning of the year, and at number, I don't know. Those are things like you said. It started with Jalen and Najee. Like, they, people have these hot takes, and they're like, oh, I bet by week whatever, Jalen will be running back number 1. Stuff like that. Like, why are we doing that? Why is that necessary? Anyway, I got that off my chest. So to go into the press conference where Mike Tomlin absolutely walks into the room, and I made the meme like how Black parents apologize, because they don't come in and just, for you who never grew up in a Black household, let me tell you, your parents, I'm from experience, they ain't never come in and lead with, I'm sorry. Right. They say things like, you hungry?
Yeah, you want something? You ready to come downstairs and eat?
Dinner's ready. Like, I'm feeling good today. I'm in a better mood today. They don't never leave with my bad. I was, I messed up. So yeah, I'm in a much better mood today. Anyone have any contract questions? That is how you say I'm sorry as a Black parent. And sorry, that is childhood trauma talking. I don't remember my mama telling me sorry. But she made me some dinner and asked me what I wanted to eat. That was or did you want to go? You coming with me to the store or something like that?
It just tells you needed some time to cool off.
I thought it. That's all. Of course, he needed some. He needed. That was frozen Tomlin. So he warmed up and got. Off the bat, he talked about the quarterback situation, and a question that I think he was asked that I think he didn't have any choice but to say yes to when someone asked him, was your QB was your QB for next year on that team, and he said yes. We don't know that to be 100% true because we can't predict the future, but I feel like he didn't have a choice but to say yes to that question, or else it would be a fire right now.
Yeah,
he has to say yes. I mean, he's not going to say, "Oh, I'm going looking outside in the organization to find another quarterback." Now you're just killing Mason and Pickett at the same time. You can't say that.
Yeah. Right.
Now
So
behind
for
the
people,
scenes, he might be thinking it though, but he can't say it out in the open.
he was really frank about being a competition. So knowing that we all know they're gonna bring people in. So whether it's through the draft or free agency, someone's coming in there, and they've got to work from there. Now, a lot of people are like, "Oh, who's the quarterback going to be? Are they going to draft?" First things first, they got to figure out the offensive coordinator situation, and they made it very clear that it's not going to be him making the OC thing. It's going to be him, Omar, and Mr. Rooney being a part of that selection. So I'm glad he made that very clear, because everyone thinks everything is solely him, and he has probably had a lot of control in the past. But I'm so glad that he put this on the table, that it will not be solely him making the decision on the OC. So when things don't work out, or things go a certain way, or you complain week 2 through whatever, you can collectively blame Omar, Mr. Rooney, and Mike Tomlin for whatever the OC decision was. So I thought that was good. Did you have any thoughts or feedback on that comment about the new OC that they'll bring in?
I think that it was. I'm kind of impartial, because even listening to the whole press conference,
mm-hmm.
I didn't really like how he was able to kind of like pick apart what he was going to say that they was like looking into. If you ain't looking into the players and stuff yet, okay, cool. Keep the players, the coaches, the coordinators, all that stuff under wraps until you get it straight. Don't say, oh, okay, well, nah, we ain't rocking with them, even though they stepped in. And when they stepped in, they did a good job. And it was really based off of, how with some other things that he, came out in the press conference about, their play style and kind of like their aggressiveness, as opposed to like earlier in the season and the play, with the play calling and stuff like that. But when it comes to, their job roles, it was kind of like almost like, nah, they ain't good enough. But then when it came to talking about like players and stuff like that, you're like, oh, well, we're in the infancy stage. Well, I mean, you're in the infancy stage with the coordinators too. Like, like I get that they were interim, which is what you call it, you know what I'm saying? But like, at least respect them enough to say that, we respect the job that they did and kind of give them at least a fighting chance against bringing somebody in.
I think it's probably their decision. I feel like they were probably extremely comfortable in their roles. I know Faulkner had been there for a minute, right? And so he was just like, look, I will do this. I'll step in and do this. He probably was like, I don't want this. If you saw how Matt Canada was treated by fans and media and stuff like that, I personally wouldn't want that job. I don't want that. I love my job before people knew who I was. I could walk out here. Like, nobody was calling Eddie Faulkner's name. Nobody was yelling at him on the side. He did the same thing before every game, and nobody bothered that man until they really, truly knew who he was. Then they started yelling his name, and all the attention comes, and I got to speak after practices now. Like, I'm good. Let me coach my running backs. Let me go back to what I was doing. I helped us out as best way I could. And let me just, go back to what I was doing, what I'm getting paid for. I'm good. I don't need the OC glitz and glam or paycheck, and then everything that comes with it. So I think it's probably more of that than them saying they're not cut out for the job. They probably didn't want to do it.
Respect.
How you feeling? We're gonna get to this OC question. Hey, Dex, how you doing?
What's happening?
Hey, we
Ready
kind of
for the
going.
offseason.
What's going on, bro?
We're
What's
going
going
to
on,
the
King?
press conference here, and we're talking about the OC. And of course, I think before you even consider the quarterback situation, and we'll talk about the quarterback situation, but before you even consider that, you have to get the OC first. I think the OC is priority here, because you don't need to go picking out quarterbacks and you don't know what kind of guy is going to be managing that quarterback. So how are you guys feeling about the OC? Who are some of the people that you're looking at? If that, I haven't really wrote down a list, but we did see the Browns fired their OC. or is it? Yeah, they're OC, right? They're OC
Mm,
and their running backs. They're their running back coach and their offensive coordinator, right?
I
Man,
don't know. I wasn't checking the Browns.
no, they got rid of their OC and I believe their running back.
No, I believe you. That's what it is. I thought
Yeah.
you was asking.
I don't want
I wouldn't.
nothing the Browns had.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I could probably hit somebody up and they know. But
What I got from the conf, I love that Tomlin. He could be kind of cryptic at times. I just love the fact he was just straight. This is what it is. Yeah, the interim OCs did their thing, and I agree with you. Like, I feel like they said, yeah, we're gonna go back to our regular jobs now. Thanks. Um,
I would have said.
yeah, I was listening to Rich Eisen and Snoop Dogg talk on their platform, and Snoop was like, yeah, we need someone that's 2000 that has like 2025 offense, not 1985 offense, And I kind of got what he's saying. Like we need the update. We need the updates. We need the iOS 18 update of
They said
OCs.
they're going out of the organization, so that's different.
Yeah, we need the update, and I'm looking for someone that's, I don't want a name that's already been, flipped around, and this team fired him, and then he was an OC this team. I want.
It did the AB dance.
Right.
Yeah, I don't need it. Right. I want someone that's like fresh, innovative that we haven't really heard of. Like someone like how the coach was from Miami Dolphins. Like no one heard of him, even when he was on San Fran. Like nobody really heard of him.
So Brian Greasy is Greasy?
Yeah.
Are you
Brian Greasy?
Brian
Greasy, old school quarterback.
Yeah, they used to play.
Let's go.
I was really thinking about. I mean, I did you pick your person, Dex, or did you say who you wanted?
I said all of that, and then I still say Byron Leftwich.
Okay, all right, cool. That's who I was going to go with, and I'm only going to go with him because I think that the players that we need to be competitive are similar to his play style, and plus he's already been there, and plus like while he was there, he was like Mason and Josh Dobbs times 10 as far as like his knowledge of the system, him having the experience and playing at a high level, and being then he won the Super Bowl down in Tampa Bay with Tom Brady. So I mean, like, not that he can't put together the system, but the system that he can put in place fits more his personal play style. He was a mobile, athletic quarterback that can run, but that's what we need. I mean, Kenny's sort of that, and I mean, like I said, the quarterbacks that I think that we need fit that mold.
I don't know. I'm on the fence about Leftwich. You're gonna have to do some convincing. You're gonna have to show me some stuff. And then if you guys are saying someone not in the organization, I know he didn't work for the Pittsburgh Steelers, but he is in some way, shape, or form attached. So I don't want nobody coming back with, I want somebody that's not attached to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't want it to backfire and people be able to use that string to the organization for why they don't like Byron Leftwich, right? So we'll see. I'm not 100% convinced. Again, I don't have my list of who I want. Some people said no. But he did. I know that was a rumor going around that he said he reached out to the team. So we'll see.
Yeah, I would like to see in the comments like why y'all say no too.
Yeah.
I mean, you said your personal reason was just because you didn't want somebody that was already familiar with the team.
No, I don't want that excuse when he doesn't perform. To say like why the Steelers couldn't, like why did they pick somebody that played for the Steelers? They can't let the linkage to the organization go. We want somebody that had nothing to do with the Pittsburgh Steelers. We want someone truly outside of the organization to come in.
So like somebody like an Eric Bieniemy.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I think people would love to have an Eric Bieniemy.
Right.
And
I don't know why people are so high on him.
And I was
just giving an example. Like he want head coach money, and he probably somebody.
Yeah, but I don't understand why. Why people are so high on him. Like, I don't know what plays he called because when he was in KC, I didn't know who was calling the plays. And then we look at this last season with Washington. What the heck did they do?
I think that with Eric Bieniemy, there is some toughness in the locker room, the things that you don't see, discipline. I think there's some of that this team is missing that he could bring. And I think Najee kind of gave you some of that. Like Eric Bieniemy don't play games. He don't play around. Like you may not have seen it with what's going on with Washington, and they got a lot of stuff going on. And their quarterback wasn't even that good. But I just think Eric Bieniemy brings a level of discipline to an offense that they probably need and want.
So more discipline than play calling. That's what you're looking at.
No. I think he's gonna be fine there. Like people Andy Reid may have handled the play calling, but like he can't he's the OC, so he's orchestrating in the practices. He's running the machine.
Yeah, that was
and
offensive coordinator.
I just don't know what he did. Like I didn't know
because you're not there, right? You're not at practices. Right. You're not there. You're not in meetings. You're not seeing him be led. The Kansas City Chiefs on offense are missing an Eric Bieniemy. Like you can see offensively, they've taken a step back, and I think that's one of the reasons why. And they're lacking probably some of that discipline and just executionary things that he probably helped bring out in practices, in the meeting rooms, and not just with the play calling, right? The play calling hasn't necessarily suffered to me. It's more on the executionary side and maybe some discipline things. You see players like what's his name? Kelsey, I'm about to call him Kittle. Kittle doing things that you don't normally see. I'm not saying Eric Bieniemy can stop him from doing that, but there's just some leadership things that I think this team is missing. But they're still in it. Not saying they can't still win, but you just haven't seen their offense be as I guess powerful as we've seen in the past with Eric there. But it is interesting, and his price tag would be interesting as well. So how long was he under contract in Washington for? Anybody know? No.
For who? Bieniemy?
Yeah. I know. Okay, I don't know. I ain't gonna lie. So Stevie says Leftwich wouldn't be bad to him. We got another Brian Greasy.
My fault. It said last February he signed a 2-year contract.
2 years, so technically he has one more year.
Mm-hmm.
And for the Leftwich thing, I want to see Byron Leftwich without what's our guy, Colonel Sanders.
Colonel Sanders.
Gosh, why his name escaped me?
What team you on?
He was our old OC with Ben. He was the head coach of the
Arians.
Bruce Arians, yes. Right?
Oh, Bruce Arians, yeah.
Sorry, I'm like Colonel Sanders.
Colonel Sanders.
Yes, I want to see Leftwich without him. And I think Bruce Arians was phenomenal as a head coach, and some of the doors that he opened for just women too in coaching. So I would love to see what Brian Leftwich brings to an offense without Bruce Arians there.
I say Brian Leftwich or somebody we never heard of. I feel like I'm sick of the NFL recycling the same people. Like there's new OCs somewhere in the college ranks. Find them. Go find them.
I don't know, y'all.
I just think at some point you gotta kind of pick somebody. I mean, with that being said, I mean you don't just pick anybody, but I mean he got a pedigree. I seen some people talking about they don't want him because he's a former Steeler, but I mean like that's really kind of like the pedigree of Pittsburgh anyway to hire within. A lot of like even when they fired Matt Canada, they didn't go outside and hire somebody. Omar Khan, he didn't come from the outside, he came from the inside. He was all so like Pittsburgh naturally hires from within anyway. And the fact that he knows the system and kind of and even if it's not the same system as Matt Canada, he knows Pittsburgh, he knows Tomlin enough to know what they're trying to do. And like I said, I think that more so he can speak to the quarterback because he was a former quarterback. that's kind of like where I'm at with it. It's more so dual function when it comes to that, because like I said, he's a former quarterback and he's offensive minded. So I mean, it's almost like having another player just with having a coach. You know, that's my personal perception. I just think that he'd probably do better with that.
And you got to look at the era when he was here. Like that was the air it out offense. You get what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that was he wasn't a part of the trash offense. When Ben was on his. He played when we were cooking.
I don't know who this is, by the way. Oh, y'all know who my tone is? I don't know who that is. I just wanted to put that up there. I was like, I don't know. My tone, I don't know.
Who's he talking to?
I don't know.
Or referring to?
But yeah, an experienced QB that knows how to read defenses and know tendencies. CT Pittman, I don't disagree that we should be looking for someone like that in an OC. It's just like, where is he? I don't have a list yet. I know when the rumors start swirling about who they're interviewing for OC, I'll be able to do my research and see. I don't know yet. I don't know. So as the names get out there and I get to see what these guys are, what their history is, what they're good at, because that it's really going to depend. The next thing is the quarterback situation, right? We known Mitchell Trubisky came in because he was a veteran. I was never high on the selection of Mitch. I remember when I think Ken, my guy Ken, was like part of the first one. He was like, "What do you think about Mitch?" And I was just like, "I don't really know." And then when we got him, I was just like, "All right, whatever. He with us. Let's go. Let's get this. Let's go, Mitch. I'm riding with you." Oh, we got a question before we dive into that. Thoughts on Cliff Kingsbury? Anybody have thoughts on him?
I heard he got picked up by somebody, or he's being heavily. Is either he got picked up already, or he's heavily being recruited. I forgot what team, but that's what I heard.
I don't think Cliff Kingsbury fits what we're trying to do, and we don't have the type of quarterback that Cliff Kingsbury needs to be prolific.
What kind of quarterback does he need?
Like a Kyler Murray, somebody who was somewhat successful with.
Okay. So let's talk about the quarterback position. Like I said, I wasn't very super high on Mitch, but again, roll with him. It was what it was. And now that we're back at this point where I really don't think did they ask them about Mitchell Trubisky at all? But I mean, I think in my mind, Mitch is gone.
A little bit. I heard a little bit, but I think at this point, I don't know.
Everybody got knows like Mitch.
Yeah, he's going.
But I mean, I'm not laughing at nobody losing their job, but I mean,
yeah. I'm not. Yeah, it's just one of those. Thank you for your services, Mitch. Thank you for contributing what you did. You robbed us. No, I'm kidding. No.
We robber.
I'm kidding. That was a joke.
Boy.
Love you, Money Mitch. Thank you for what you've done. But look, we have essentially two openings at QB. Mason being a free agent and Mitch probably not coming back. This is what I want to talk about. Who are the guys in the free agent market that the Pittsburgh Steelers are looking at? I have two and a possible. Okay. And this guy's on. It's not me personally that I want this guy. He's top of the list for me. It's not me. He's at top of the list because of how the Pittsburgh Steelers are and their history. The Pittsburgh Steelers can prove me wrong here, but Russell Wilson is number one. And it's not because I want Russell Wilson, y'all. Please don't hate me for this. It is because he will probably be the cheapest. We know he has a situation with Denver, and Denver got to pay him his money. And the Pittsburgh, you know how we are. We know how we are when it comes to the money. And I feel like his price tag is going to be one of them like, oh, this is on sale. We got a quarterback on sale, y'all. He's on clearance.
So it's always a reason, though.
Yeah, we got a Super Bowl winning quarterback on clearance. Let's go for it. Let's give it a shot. That is my fear. Number two, there's been a whole lot of chatter and talk about Kirk Cousins. I think he can bring something to the deep ball, and there's some things that he can be there. But to me, the offense regresses and where I thought Tomlin was going with the offense. And that was having that dual threat quarterback that could run and all that stuff. So I see it, and I see he could get the ball to these guys like a George Pickens and Deontay down the field and whoever else to develop after them. But I just feel like in the run, he can, hand the ball off and the run can be a thing. But I feel like we automatically lose that element of him being able to get out the pocket and run. So you lose that. And I felt like that was the way that Coach Tomlin was trying to go because the league itself was moving in that direction. And then there's Justin Fields, which is really low for me. It's been tossed out there. It's been thrown out there. Who the heck knows what they would have to give up for him? But please believe Chicago and be like, y'all got us on the Chase Claypool thing. So y'all got to back. You know what I mean? Like, y'all owe us. Because that Chase Claypool thing didn't work out. So y'all got JPJ. So we got Justin Fields. What y'all gonna give us? So I feel like, they may be wanting something that Pittsburgh may not be wanting to give up. But Omar, maybe he can negotiate something. I don't know. I'm not against Justin Fields. I think our offensive line, we make a couple tweaks to that offensive line. I think he could be okay. But I would love to see a few of your predictions. I'll put some of the ones in the chat up as you guys go through.
Okay. I'm gonna go with kind of like how what your last prediction was my first best suggestion. I definitely think Justin Fields is probably the best option just because of his abilities, what he can do inside and outside of the pocket. I think his play style pretty much fits what we need to do and what we're trying to do. I mean, he got a big arm like Mason, but he can run way better than any of the quarterbacks that we have. And I mean, that is maybe his primary default, but we have to be able to have that threat to be a threat to other teams. A lot of teams know that, when you got somebody like Mason, when you got even Kenny Pickett, like the way that we're coaching him up, we're coaching him to sit in the pocket, which is not bad, but you also have to like be able to like put fear in people's heart that you're going to take off. I mean, like, a lot of times that's what when we play, Lamar, and when we play teams like, the Bills, like we played, last week, that is normally the first kind of the things that we have to take into account. All right, cool. If we stop him on the run, we stop him on the pass, can we stop him on the run? Or is he going to run? Like, those are normally kind of like your first two thoughts. So, I mean, you have to put that in the mind of the defensive, teams and coordinators and stuff like that. And I think Justin Fields is the prime candidate for that. He's young, he's raw. And, I mean, I think he's moldable still. You get the right person behind him. Like I said, if I had it my way, like I said, you get somebody like Fields and Leftwich in there, and Leftwich is a quarterback. Leftwich can say, all right, well, if this look like this, it may not be what you think. Just kind of, squeeze it in there and get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, he give him a little bit of pet talk, or maybe kind of like shape his perspective a little bit. But I mean, I just think he's the best thing for what we need to be like Dex was saying, because I seen the interview too with Snoop Dogg. But we need to be in 2025 and not 1984, to quote Snoop. So yeah, so I mean, I think he's a good option. I also think low key, as a solid probably backup, I will probably look at Tyler Huntley. I think Tyler Huntley's coming up on a free agency as well. And I mean, to be an interdivision quarterback, I don't think he would be a bad pickup. He's not a bad player. Obviously, he doesn't get that much time behind Lamar, but we all came in thinking he Lamar 2.0, so it's, or Lamar Jr. I'll say Lamar Jr. Just as I'm looking at those type of abilities and the fact that they can still throw and make the passes, and given certain situations and circumstances like how we was giving Mason, as far as like making a safe throw, you make the safe throw. If you don't trust him to take that risk, let him make the safe throw.
So I'm gonna answer. We're gonna go to you, Dex. I'm gonna answer CT Pitten's question right now. Do you consider Phillips to be on the same tier as Mahomes, Allen, or Lamar Jackson? I'd say no. I think he's not there yet, but I think he possesses. I think he shows you some characteristics there that he just needs to. You kind of need to help him develop that with the right offensive line, with the right receivers. I think he can give you the rumblings of these guys. So he's not there yet, but I think he could be in the conversation. Go ahead, Dex. Sorry.
For me, I'm pretty much simple. I'm really open to the quarterback competition. I think if Justin Fields get there, he'll push Kenny. But I want to see what fire they come with, and clearly we can't just count on preseason because Kenny was a preseason Adonis, and then he regressed through the season, So I'm with the competition. I need Fields. I don't care who we bring in. Fields. We could bring in Huntley. I'm here, Ratbird, bro. I don't want no Ratbirds. No.
Hey, we took LJ Fort, and LJ Fort turned out pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, that's defense. That's defense, right?
Yeah.
So
he like I didn't remember he was a Ratbird.
Yeah.
Like,
even Wormley, Chris Wormley too. Didn't he come?
Chris Wormley, yeah, I forgot about him.
Oh yeah.
But
taking all these Ratbirds.
So, okay. If are you guys with bringing back Mason?
Competition. I don't care.
Competition. See what I wouldn't let him go, but I would tell him that you kind of like
it ain't about letting him go.
Okay, all right, cool. You're a free agent. With that being said, we're gonna conditionally offer you something, and I mean you could take it or leave it. I'll give you a chance to come in at OTAs, come in, maybe preseason. They come in and go against this quarterback, and then we can make a deal with a team that if if we want to sign you and we don't like you, we'll trade you. With that being said, they kind of at least give him that money. So he ain't kind of just, stuck out there. But, I mean, I would definitely not just give it to him. I don't think that he's earned it. He hasn't lost it just because of how he played when we needed to play him in the last 3 games. But it was also because of, the play calling, in the last 3 games. I mean, and it was clearly said in the press conference why we was so productive in those last 3 games with Mason. But we'll get there.
Oh man. Okay. Penix, if he fell to the 3rd or 4th round, I don't think Penix falls that far. Just simply because there's a lot of teams that need quarterbacks. So I think there's gonna be some desperation in this draft.
Penix has no ACL joints.
And what I'm a little homer here. How y'all feel about I'm thinking of vets here, Tyrod Taylor coming to the Pittsburgh Steelers?
I wouldn't be opposed to it.
A journeyman?
Tyrod
push for the starting quarterback? If he coming as a backup, fine.
Like, look, they're obviously gonna get some type of veteran in the league from the league in here. Like this, they're probably gonna draft somebody, but they getting a vet from somewhere in free agency. So how would y'all feel about?
Only thing I don't really like about that is the fact that Tyrod will have to learn the system. I mean, for all that matter, you might as well call Cam Newton. You want to get somebody like a journeyman that's like,
Tyrod's been around for a long time.
Yeah, but I mean, he like Geno Smith. Like he kind of like good enough to get you there, but then you can't really depend on him. I don't know. Like I'm not opposed to it, but I mean,
2-year on his contract. I mean, look, the only gripe, and Ty, I love you, Ty, is like just the health. Like you just want him to be able to when he steps in to be out there. But who else? I think Ken threw out Jacoby Brissett out there. How y'all feel about him?
Nah, I'm good on Jacoby Brissett.
You're another Mason to me.
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good on Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby Brissett remind me of Jameis Winston.
Oh, Jameis, yo, bring in my man Jameis.
So he was on my list before we got Mitch. I was like, oh, bring in Jameis. Like, why
Bring
not?
in Jameis. Put us on Hard Knocks.
They not feeling the Tyrod pick in the chat. It's okay.
Yo,
I'm
bring in
I'm not.
Jameis. Jameis is a
I like,
gunslinger.
we might have a little 757 thing, what up?
Hey,
Okay.
I'm all for Jameis. I forgot about Jameis.
Okay,
Bring
so this
Jameis in.
guy, what about Baker Mayfield?
No.
No.
Absolutely not.
No.
Absolutely not. No, sir.
Not
No,
feeling
man.
dangerous. You're not feeling none of that.
No Baker Mayfield.
Nah.
I'm sorry.
Nope.
Somebody had to. I was watching I was watching some video. Somebody had the nerve to call him a terrific quarterback.
Who?
And I'm like, not the QB that been on 4 teams in 3 years.
Who?
Baker Mayfield.
A terrific?
Yes, a terrific quarterback. And they said that out of the 8 quarterbacks that we have, the only one that wasn't terrific was Brock Purdy. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll leave that alone.
Yeah.
Another day.
See my face.
Yeah, that was a bad take.
Yeah. Baker Mayfield. We'll see. I don't know. But one thing that he did, we'll kind of close out here in a little bit. One thing that Tomlin did say, and I know this to be true, I've heard him say it before in a completely different setting, but no, he's not lying. And we've seen it to be true. It's like we follow guys. Like they haven't been in positions to draft some of the superstars early in different positions. But when they come up in free agency, they grab them. And one of those guys was Dwayne Haskins. Coach Tomlin.
RP.
Yes. Coach Tomlin was like, he wanted him, but there was absolutely no way that he could get a Dwayne Haskins out of that job to sit behind a Ben Roethlisberger. So when the opportunity presented itself, he figured out a way to get him, and he was happy to have him here. And I remember him saying that when Dwayne came, one of the things like he told him was just like, yeah, you can, what do you say? It was something along the lines. It's like, yeah, you just can't wear number 7. Like you can't have 7. You got to pick another number. Mm-hmm. And he ended up picking 3. And if you look at the Miles Jack, like guys that they get in free agency is really guys that they've probably always wanted, wasn't in the position to draft them. When they come up, they kind of grab them. And so, I wonder what guys have been on his radar that are coming up in free agency that we don't necessarily know about. So that'll be cool. That'll be interesting to see. I'm excited for that. Free agency, they don't always do a whole lot. You saw Omar and Andy do a lot this year, and we'll see what the next year brings. So
that'd be like that'd be our good problem. Like we don't lose enough to pick top 5, but we don't win enough.
Yeah, I do want to. We're not going to do it today, but we'll kind of go through. We did it with the quarterbacks, but I do want to kind of go through with you guys in next show or next week or whatever. Who are some of the guys that we do not anticipate being back? So think about that. We won't talk about it now. We'll kind of wrap up here, but that'll be what we talk about next.
Okay, my fault. I did have one thing I kind of wanted to get y'all opinion on before we got up out of here. In a press conference, when I was listening to Tomlin, one of the reporters, ex-Tomlin, he said when Mason came in the last 3 games of the season, said, did play calling become more aggressive or did he just perform better?
Yeah, I heard that.
Coach Tomlin said he performed very well, but our intentions were our intentions. He said there was no tomorrow, so we were aggressive in nature in what we were trying to do. Clear to me as far as why we were as explosive as we were in the earlier part, in the latter part of the season as opposed to with the beginning. I think we came on previous to Mason coming in and trying to figure out why the offense wasn't explosive. It was the Canada thing at first, then it was the play calling, and it was trying to figure out, what it was. Was it Kenny? Was it, him not reading the reads? What was it? And obviously, he just broke it down the last, after the season is over, that they just weren't being aggressive enough. But you knew that, and so like, I don't know whether that is them not being confident in Kenny, or them just kind of being reserved and wanting to run the ball, which they couldn't at the beginning of the season. So I kind of want to get your opinion on that.
It was Kenny.
I'm not gonna.
It was
I
Kenny.
don't really want to speak on that one.
Kenny only read half the field. And I don't know. See, it's a lot. See, the thing about football is that it is a team sport, right? So a lot of contributing factors contribute to how the game goes. So we could say Kenny didn't read half the film, which he didn't. I watched a lot of all 22 film and watch people break stuff down on him. And I'm like, all right, is he getting time enough to read it? And is he all right? And then when he's getting time, is he so used to not getting time that he just 1, 2 off to the flats, 1, 2 roll out? Like, you get what I'm saying? And that's why Mason looks so immaculate. Because Mason was
like 1, 2, 3, done.
He was able to get through his progression.
Mason was flat-footed, 1, 2, 3, drop back, and he's just standing there. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, when Kenny, that's what pissed me off. Remember we had that conversation, D, a couple of shows ago, where he was like, when they asked Kenny, did you learn anything from watching Mason? He's like, no. I'm like, you emotional man. You little emotional man.
But it's not, y'all.
Okay. Emotional damage. You heard that one? He has emotional damage.
We gotta go back to. You weren't here when we were talking about the media. You gotta go back to that, because this media has been so divisive. And I'm not saying it's on purpose, but I feel like that was like cause and effect of that. Like, I don't want to give you nothing. No, I really don't even want to talk to y'all. I didn't play. Like, no, like, no, I'm good. I feel like no, I don't have a problem with it. For the umpteenth time, I don't have a problem with him saying no.
Because it showed in his play. You didn't learn nothing. You didn't learn to stay in the pocket, trust your O-line.
And even if I did learn something, I don't have to tell you guys what I did.
You know how many sacks he ran into rolling out? Looking 65, look bad.
But like, when I get in front of those reporters that are gonna misconstrue everything I say anyway, or whatever, I don't want to give you nothing. Nah, I'm good. Like, would you really sit in front of a camera and say, yeah, I learned because Mason played better than me? Like, what?
I wouldn't say that, but I would have said, yeah.
I mean, you talking to somebody who's been in the league way before you. I mean, and they learn from a Hall of Fame quarterback. I mean, just be humble.
Be number one. I'm not saying that on camera.
Emotional.
I mean, you can learn from anybody. So I mean, it's not no slight against you or your ability to say that you can learn from somebody who's been there longer than you, who probably knows the game and the system better than you. Like, whether you first or not, you can go outside today and talk to a homeless person and get some gems and rules, and like you never heard that before. But that don't make you no less.
An opportunity to learn, yes. Do I feel like I have to say that to the media people? No. And that's just me. And
I feel like if he would have said that, he would have shut that media down, because they was looking for that. They was looking for him to say something negative, and that no was just.
Look at that. Look
you shut it down like that, like Kenny did.
I was just like,
Now I'm back. That no was so negative.
Yeah. But I mean, I think that was.
I hear you.
I just think that was a testament to to at least Steelers fans, to let them know why we weren't as productive as we was offensively until we got to the latter part of the season, and then you get to a quarterback like Mason who was able to kind of read through his progressions a lot faster, and then just make the decision.
Yeah, and people said that's how Kitty got hurt, leaving the pocket. Listen, I mean, I hear you. We'll see how his game changes and develops in the off season, because he will be at camp. It's cheaper to keep him at this point, so we'll see.
What happens. We got him. You want to ask him what he learned over the off season? He gonna be like, nothing.
I haven't done this in a couple shows, but let everybody know what you guys got going on and where they can follow you, because I've been really bad at that. And the new year is coming. There's going to be, we'll still talk Steelers, but there's going to be a lot going on D Love Sports on YouTube. So make sure you're subscribed. I'm going to be giving you some other people on here. So I can't give it all away right now as it's working through, but should be some good informative content. I try to give you my little joking side and making my little, are they called memes? I don't know.
Yeah.
I get what you
mean. I try to make, light of situations all the time. Those are fun. You get to see a little bit of my humor and stuff. But J-Rock and Dex, let people know where they can find you online.
Yeah, man, you can follow me on platforms, Instagram, Facebook. I am on Twitter now. Ain't a whole lot of content on there because, I'm just getting on
there. Coffee, y'all.
But yeah, I will be getting some stuff on there. You might see me on Sports and or hear me on Sports and Coffee with D. Of course, I'm on here. I am on another podcast called AFC North Talk. And then I have my own podcast that I haven't been, really attending to. But it's called After the Whistle Podcast. So if y'all get a chance, man, just go on YouTube and search it up, and you should be able to find
it. Text.
Yeah, I'm kind of new to this podcasting. Right now I'm just rocking with D Sports. Anytime she'll have me, you can follow my X. I don't know if it's X or Twitter, but you can follow me at Twitter. Sticking with Twitter. To the end. All right. So you can follow me at BK Steeler Nation. That stands for Brooklyn Steeler Nation because I'm from the towns. Yeah, I'm from Brooklyn and I'm repping that black and gold. Yeah, and I'm rocking out with D. As long as she had me up here, you'll see me up here.
I got you. I appreciate you, man. You're always welcome. I don't want to think anybody think you're not welcome. You guys are always welcome. As long as you got a camera and a mic, I can hear and see you. Ain't no bunch of noise. You feel free to join us. But
one more thing. I'm working on getting some merch. I was gonna pitch this to D offline, but I think we need that I'll tell you offline.
Okay. We'll talk. Let's talk. And I love that RG3 and Jay Gruden beef on the Twitter timeline. If you don't know what we're talking about, go look on RG3's page. Jay Gruden and him been going back and forth. I don't even know if they're done. The last thing I saw, I haven't looked at it recently, but the last thing I saw was him saying, "Go race a pigeon." Jay Gruden told RG3 to go race a pigeon. He raced that hawk.
Oh yeah. He did race that bird. Yeah.
Bird. Oh my God, that's the last thing I saw. So please go check that out. It's very comical. Jay Gruden and RG3 beefing. It's hilarious. But again, come here. I'll try to do this weekly, even through the off season. It's going to be hard. I'm not gonna lie to you. I ain't gonna hold you. It's gonna be difficult. But we'll try to give you something. If it's not every week, maybe every other week when there's news, whatever. As we get into the off season, March is gonna be big. We know. And then the draft, that's gonna be big as well. So we'll talk those things as we get there. Right now, the Steelers have the 20th pick. And but thank you again. You can always find me on Twitter, D Love Sports. I'm there every day. People ask for my phone number, and I'll be like, why don't you just hit me up online? You have a better chance of talking to me online than actually having my phone number because I don't be reading my messages.
They try and get it.
No, they be trying. Whatever.
Anyway, Will Herb, I agree.
All right, y'all.
Have a good night.
Have a good night. Thanks for joining me, y'all.